All right, here we go. We're going to do factor by grouping, and we're going to make sure that we have these things and that we understand the different parts of the polynomials. Now, the polynomials normally have how many parts? Three. Okay, we're used to dealing with quadratic trinomials, right? And those are the parts that we have to focus on. However, look at today's lesson, which don't worry about this. You can read that in your own time. Let's focus on this screen first. So if you look at this screen, I want you and your partners to kind of factor each one of these out by itself. Go ahead and try that right now. You have no partner, don't you? Because Caroline. Rafael, come. Booger. Kramer. Come over here.
Doesn't happen wrong.
I know, and I just said booger on the lesson. So whoever's listening is going to hear that.
Oh, you're just recording?
I am recording. Hi, Caroline. Also want to encourage you guys, if you guys get lost, you can re-look at the lesson because I'm recording it. It shows the writing and that kind of stuff on there, all right?
That's cool.
Just takes up a lot of space.
So in this case it'd be 3. 3n squared.
Is that right? You said to myself.
Except you copy the problem wrong. It's 3n cubed minus 12n squared, not 12n cubed, which would change your answer. You're on the right track. All right, hey, who has the first one done? Patel, can you tell me what that one is?
3n squared, parentheses, and minus 4.
So we got 3n squared, is that right? And then we have, what'd you say?
Parentheses, n minus 4.
N minus 4, okay? Thumbs up, everyone agree? Okay, we're all hunky-dory here, good? Good.
What is that?
All right, Patels, there was a request. How did you know how to do that?
Oh, I found the greatest common factor.
Okay, recommendation. You want to first focus on what? Remember, this was from 6.2. This is a previous lesson. First, focus on the numbers, then focus on the variables. Mr. Farnes, you remember now? So what number did we focus on taking out? Don't all jump at once. No, we can't do that. Can't be 12 because this one doesn't have 12. 3 is good. Okay, you can only take what both of them have in common. Then focus on the variable. What do they both have in common? N squared. So you're left behind with just a singular n right there. All right, bottom part, Hills.
2 times n minus 4.
Now, I was given a great recommendation to collect your notebooks to see if you guys wrote notes down for points and the quality and judge the quality of your notes. That's just a great student recommendation. I am telling you right now to take notes. Okay?
Wait, are you collecting it?
Huh? It would be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Is it Nick Lamosa who told you that?
Was it last
We're not saying names. Okay.
It's probably a
Take a look at these answers right now, right? You have all of these things. Now I'm going to change to the next slide, and I want you guys to take note of as far as how it's different. You guys ready? And you're going to copy this down. Ready? Copy it down. What happened? The reason for me showing this is this. I can assign each one of the ones on the top as homework. You should know what to do automatically. Today's lesson, it's going to look like the bottom part right there. Okay? Where it's combined. Your task is to break it apart by grouping. Now, you don't know how to do that yet. Who still needs a slide? Okay. Please take the time to write this down so you can see it. If you don't, then I guess you can review this lesson because I'm recording it right now. Here we go.
Where's the something that is
I'll include, there'll be a link on the thing.
Wait, what do you mean you're recording?
Like you can hear my voice, you can hear me writing it. You can hear the conversation we're having right now.
Oh, cool. Wait, you're gonna put it on Google Docs?
Yeah, I will. All right, check it out. Now the question is this. How do I get my answer? You see the answer on the bottom right there? Yes or no? The answer's right here. You see that?
Yes.
That is your goal for tonight's homework. To go from point A to point B. Now some of you might be still answering the question or asking the question, how in the world do we get that? Can someone remind me what this portion was? Well, we did that already. Someone remind me? Okay, yeah, what was it?
3n squared, parentheses, n minus 4.
3n squared, what?
Parentheses, n minus 4.
N minus 4. You guys with me so far? Yeah. Okay. Plus, what was the other one? Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Okay. What was the other part?
2.
Does everyone see how that works right there? I'm going to take a quick pause from this. I'm going to come back to this in a second, but let me show you something. Let's say I had a problem like this. And I told you to factor that. How would you do that? What do they... Okay, first off, do we understand it's a binomial? What do both terms have in common? Okay, I'm reading your mouths. You say x squared. You see that? So the name of the game right here is we're going to take an x squared out. You're factoring it out because they have something common. And I'm telling you I need it factored out. So my answer would then be technically x squared times what? 4 plus 3, which you technically can solve it, and that's 7, right? But do you see what is being done so far? You have to find what they have in common. What do they have in common? Whoa. Come again? N minus 4. So what am I going to do? Hills?
You multiply 3n plus 3n squared plus 2 times n minus 4.
Close. Oh, I think I... Hold that, okay? I think I heard... I don't know if I heard that right. What are you factoring out now? Okay, so if I'm factoring n minus 4, I know my next one is just going to have n minus 4. If I took it out, guess what happens to this right here? Both of them are gone. So what's left over? Done. Some people are still confused. Did you write down the answer right there? Okay. It's going to be n minus 4 times 3n plus 2. Now, how do we get that? Let's get rid of that screen. Is that the answer that we have here?
Yes.
Yes. So, someone summarize or tell me, how do we set up the problem to get it so that we could factor something out? Yeah.
Okay, so first so what we did in the beginning is we factored the problem out, so 3n to square root n minus 4. So we did that part, and so you find basically what's in common with it, and then you take that out, and then you find what's left, and then you put that in, and then you put the factored out part back in.
It's important to know that you're going to group, you have to break it apart like that, right? So you're basically like splitting it up. It's like divide and conquer, right? And by dividing and conquering it, you can find out what is kind of in common and factor it out. All right. So this is going to be more like what the problem you see. Now, anyone notice this is the exact same one thing we just did?
Yeah.
Okay. This is exactly what we just did. So let's try something different, shall we? Oh, and for those that want the next slide, you guys always know that it has the solution for how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and try out A right here. That particular. Oops. This one right here?
I like the one that's T. The little looks like a plus.
Well, curl your T's. Don't
Yeah.
curl your T's. Did you guys break it up already?
Yeah.
Okay, for the first section, which one did you guys group it? What was your first group?
18 plus 14.
Thanks, Kramer, for making a leap of faith. You're like, you took the first two, right? Okay. Do you always take the first two?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. You figure it out. Okay. Now, the key thing is simply this. Okay. I don't want to just tell you as your teacher. Okay. You got to discover it yourself. The end goal is you want to make sure that both of them have something you have in common to pull out. Am I right? So sometimes you got to figure it out. Could it be the first two always? Maybe. I'm not going to tell you. All right. So we have 8t cubed plus 14t squared. What could you factor out there? KDL?
2t squared and then parentheses 4t plus 7.
2t squared, and you got 4t plus 7. Okay? The other part, I'm going to continue on. And you know it's adding, correct? It's still adding. You have to remember that. You got 20t plus 5. What do they both have in common?
5.
Okay. No, you said 5? Good. Got 5, and then what do we got left then?
4t plus 7.
4t plus 7. Would you say it's a success so far?
Yeah.
What? How? How do I know? Rules. You say because they're similar, right? What am I going to factor out? What do you want to pull out? If I'm going to pull out 4t plus 7, technically that's kind of taken out. So you have 4t plus 7. And what was left inside the left?
2t squared.
2t squared plus 5.
Did we solve for it or not?
And that is the answer. Now, what's that?
Like, I was just, you answered it, but I was just asking if you solve for it after you get that.
What more can you do?
You get the answer you got from
Distribute.
But I guess
If you distribute, you would end up with
the answer you started
the answer to start with. And the distributing, that is the foiling. And I mean, we're factoring, which is the opposite. Okay. Here's the only trick, and I'll give you a little hint. You see this one right here? The last term? You see? Do you know that's still a quadratic? Yes or no? Now, if you know it's a quadratic, you got to always ask yourself, can that be factored out even more? Okay? There's a chance that we're not done yet. Is it?
Yeah.
It can't be factored out, can it? What was yesterday's lesson about? What's the only quadratic that's a binomial? You guys remember? It was stuff like this. What's the difference between the bottom one and the top one that I just wrote? We said that this one can only be, that one can be factored because what do you notice about the first term and the last term? They are what? Perfect squares. Now, in our current problem, are they perfect squares?
No.
Then they cannot be factored. Make sense? Though that's a binomial, a quadratic binomial that you should know by seeing it. We did oodles of problems already in regards to that. Okay? Ishan?
So if there's 4t plus 7, like parentheses, wouldn't it be 4t plus 7 squared? Because what happened to the other 4t plus 7?
It's a good question. Okay? His question, for those that are following along, there was two of them. So how come, where's the 4t squared? Well,
Because if you redistribute it,
if you brilliant. If you redistribute it, you wouldn't get the same answer. On top of that, on top of that, if I went out and if it was like this, 4x plus, I don't know, 81x, whatever. Okay? What would you factor out? x, and then it would just be 4 plus 81, correct? Now, how come it's not x squared? It's two of them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to use an easier concept to explain the more complicated one. It's the same idea. And it's not x squared, it's just x because you pulled out only one x from each term. The key word is each. Okay? KDL?
What if you weren't, like, what if you didn't get 14 plus 7 for a second?
Then you're not able to group it. It's a good question. What happens if you can't get the same binomial they have in common? Then it's not factorable by grouping. In other words, you did something wrong. For this lesson, you should be able to do that. Okay? Now, is it going to always work? Answer is no. Okay? But it will work for this lesson. All right. Got this one. I'm going to give you a little hint right now that there's two ways to do this. Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. I'm doing a squiggle because I'm suggesting there's two ways. Wags. Hey, when you're finished, check with your partners. I want to encourage the dialogue between you two. Help each other out. Gonna freeze the screen while it works so we can just save some time. All right, let's come back together real quick. Okay? Remember, partner if you can. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to talk about the first method, which if I'm a gambling man, which I'm not, but if I was, I'm guessing that most of you guys did not do the first method. You guys ready? The first method was this. You factored out what's in common first. Anyone do that one by chance? Sweet. That's good. Okay. What did I do first?
Found the biggest, the great common factor of all of them.
Good job, Shafe. I looked at the entire problem, and I said, oh, whoa, all of them have a Q, and all of them have a 4 in common. And I went ahead and I factored it out first. Okay? I just have to know, and this is no different than 36, 37, 38 from the last night's homework. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, it's the previous, exact same concept. And then I can group what's left over here, right? Then I could just remember that there's going to be 4q, and then over there it would then be q squared, and then what was left inside was q plus 2, is that right? And over here would be 3, and then what would be inside would be q minus 2. That screw up. I messed up the sign, didn't I? This is a minus. Sweet. Hey, you see how I troubleshooted right there? I'm like, wait a minute, it didn't look the same. So I looked to see if I messed up on copying the problem down, which is perfectly fine. And then I factor it out, and I got 4q, and then I have q minus 2, and what's left over is q squared plus 3. Don't make fun of my q. Thank you. Happy? All right. That's not you. Okay. Hey, let's go the other way. Can someone tell me what you got? What answer you got after a while? Okay. We're almost done with class. Yeah.
I got 4q3
4q to the third
plus 12q.
plus 12q.
Then I have some parentheses.
Okay, good.
Another parentheses, q minus 2.
Q minus 2. Hey. Yes, exactly. You either factor out first or you factor out last. So what I'm saying is over here, you could say, hey, I have a 4 and a q that I could take out, and the answer then is 4q, okay, q squared plus 3 times q minus 2. Guess what? What? Both answers are the same. Aren't they? Different method, same answer. My expectation is you guys get all the homework done as best as you can. That is your job. It's going to be a completion grade. Only if you get it done. We're going to be looking at the same concept for 2 days in a row. Okay? So if you're lost, we have another day left.
Is this all going to be on the homework?
Come again?